The second game of the doubleheader between Brush and Burlington on April the 12th proved to be an exciting affair, with the Diggers extremely nervous after the top of the first inning when Brush starting pitcher Matt Weiner allowed 4 runs on 5 hits. And with Brush unable to respond in the bottom of the first inning, Burlington actually extended the lead to 5-0 on a run-scoring single by A.J. Worden. In the bottom of the second inning, Joe Ginther led off with a single and then got to third after a couple of wild pitches. Matt Weiner later on in the frame was hit by a pitch. Mitch Muniz at the plate trying to drive in Brush's first run.
Swing. Base hit into center field on the line drive. I believe only one will score. Gutierrez is going to be held up at third. But scoring is Joe Ginther on the RBI single by Mitch Muniz. And it's now 5-1 in favor of Burlington.
Meanwhile, Weiner did a much better job on the hill, striking out the side in the third and fifth innings, but it was still 5-1 Burlington. Going into the bottom of the fifth inning against starter Saul Halligan, who then walked Mitch Muniz. Tomas Perez then doubled. Jason Radke was hit by a pitch, as was Brett Okeson. So the Diggers had it at 5-2 with Bryson Miller at the dish.
And the delivery. Swung on, grounded left side. That will find left field for a base hit. Perez crosses home plate. Radke will stay at third. The bases remain loaded, but it's an RBI single by B. Miller. 5-3 Burlington. The Diggers inching just a little closer.
And Halligan was eventually chased from the game. Matt Menier was then hit by a pitch with the bases loaded, plating a run, making it 5-4. That brought up the leading hitter, Joe Ginther.
Here is the wind and the 1-0 pitch. Swung on, lifted into deep left field. It could be a grand slam. That ball is descending. That ball is gone! It is a grand slam for Joe Ginther. The Beetdiggers have turned a 5-1 deficit into an 8-5 fifth-inning lead.
Matt Weiner then doubled and scored later on in the frame, making it 9-5 in an 8-run fifth inning. You figured the game was over, but Bobby Hodgkinson led off the sixth with a double, and then that brought up Cody Martins 2 batters later, ready to swing the big stick.
The pitch. Fastball is hit high and deep to left field. Going way back is Aguilar, and Burlington has cut the deficit in half. A 2-run homer for Cody Martins. Brush 9, Burlington 7.
Out went Matt Weiner. In came Jason Radke, who walked a hitter, then registered an out. A.J. Worden was then at the plate, and remember, he had homered in the opening game.
Radke back on the rubber, gets the sign. And the breaking ball swung on, that's gone. That is way out of here. A home run that cleared the fence by about 40 feet. A 2-run blast from A.J. Worden on a hanging breaking ball. And the game is tied at 9.
In the bottom of the sixth inning, Bryson Miller and Matt Menier both grounded out. Joe Ginther had homered in his previous at-bat against Tyler Collins, so you figured he wouldn't pitch to him, right?
Swung on, lifted into deep right center field. They threw him a fat pitch, and Ginther has his second home run of the game. To the left of the scoreboard in right center field, the Diggers lead 9-8. 10-9 make it. 10-9 Brush.
Well, despite the lead, Beetdigger fans got nervous in the seventh when Radke walked the opening hitter, then gave up a base hit, but then struck out the next 2 hitters, so first and second, 2 outs against J.T. Hernandez.
Tying run is at second. The go-ahead run at first, but the Beetdiggers in the lead 10-9. The pitch. Hernandez swings, grounds it to short on 2 hops. The short way laser to Okeson, and the Beetdiggers have won the game. 10-9, getting out of a major jam in the 7th inning.
And the Beetdiggers' big inning that won the game, obviously that 8-run fifth for head coach Mark Muniz.
We run a drill. We try to run it, as much as we can. It's called a 9-out drill, and we focus on 9 outs, being behind or being close or being tied, or being one ahead, and those kind of things, and trying to produce runs. And we ran it last night, and that's one of the bigger drills and one of the most important drills we do. But we had to do something. Our pitching was there, and we got it done in that inning. But that's what we look for all the time.
10-3 was the overall record for Brush, 5-0 in division play. On April 12th against Burlington, the Beetdiggers found out that a big inning can make you, but on April 15th in Bennett against the Tigers, the Diggers also discovered that a big inning can break you. In the bottom of the first, starting pitcher Jason Radke walked Jacob Walden. Andrew Thornton then reached on an error. After John Suss was struck out, there were 2 down for C.J. Stemo.
It'll be another 3-2 pitch to Stemo from Jason Radke in the bottom of the first. And here it is. And he swings and fists it in the air. That one might drop beyond the shortstop Lassiter into short center. It does. 1 run scores. Here comes the second one, and Andrew Thornton. It's a 2-run bloop single for C.J. Stemo, who goes to second as the ball gets away in the infield, and Bennett leads 2-0.
That wasn't the big inning for Bennett. It was the bottom of the third when, with one down, Jacob Walden doubled, Andrew Thornton singled, as did John Suss and C.J. Stemo. 2 runs were already across for Luke Barden.
And the 1-0 pitch. Swung on, lined, right center field, base hit. Perez will field it on one hop to his right. He boots the baseball. Advancing to third is Stemo. Scoring on the play is Suss. And the ball gets through the infielder, Miller. And advancing to second is Luke Barden. Another error by the Beetdiggers. Bennett leads 5-0. And that is the 5th consecutive hit for the Tigers.
It was a 4-run third inning as Bennett grabbed a 6-0 lead, and they were looking for more in the fourth.
The 1-2 pitch, here it is. Swung on, grounded into left field by the diving Fierro inside the third base line. It's headed for the corner. Rounding third is Beauregard. He scores. Striding into second with a 2-out RBI double is Andrew Thornton. 7-0 Bennett.
But the Beetdiggers never gave up as Pepe Aguilar began the 5th inning with a single and would come around to score on a Bennett error. So it was 7-1 going into the top of the 6th inning when, with 2 down, it was Matt Manier walking, getting to second on a wild pitch. Joe Ginther was next.
And awaiting the 1-2. Breaking ball is grounded hard to third base over the glove of the third baseman Shearer on a tricky hop into left field. James Ginther will score. Hard turn at first for Joe Ginther. Will give him a single on a bad hop there to third. And the Beetdiggers have cut this down to 5. It's still 7-2 Bennett.
So not only were the Diggers doing good things offensively, but defensively as well, as Bennett found out in the bottom of the 6th.
And the 0-1 pitch. Fastball is laced to the third baseman, Bruntgard, to second. That's 1. To first. 2! They barely got him. 5-4-3 as Miller stretched with all his might to be able to catch that baseball before Stemo stepped on the bag, and there's 2 down.
And even though the Diggers did threaten in the top of the 7th inning, they could not score. Bennett won the game by a score of 7-2, sweeping the 2-game series. The Beetdiggers' record fell to 10-4. April 17th would be Brush's next game against the Warriors in Frederick, and as they had done many times throughout the course of the regular season, the Beetdiggers got out to a 1-0 first-inning lead on the road when Jason Radke reached on an error and came around to score on a sacrifice fly by Adam Brungard. In the bottom half of the second, the Diggers had a man on second and 2 down for none other than Jason Radke.
Stretched by Wilden, the pitch. Fastball line into right center field. That is a base hit. Headed for the gap. Cut off by the center fielder, but Mitch Muniz will stride in easily towards home plate. He will score. Jason Radke's RBI single gives the Beetdiggers a 2-0 lead here in the top of the 2nd inning.
The Beetdiggers finally got the bats going in the 3rd inning when James Ginther singled, as did Adam Brungard. Up came the RBI man, Joe Ginther.
And the 1-0. Ginther swings it. It's a fly ball into deep left center field. Nobody will get to that baseball. It's cut off by the left fielder Lemon. Now it gets off his glove. Ginther's going to score around third. They're going to send Brungard. He should score easily. Ginther's in there with a double, a 2-run double, and the Beetdiggers lead 4-0.
Ginther made it 5-0 as he scored on a Pepe Aguilar fielder's choice. In the bottom half of the 3rd inning, starting pitcher Matt Weiner allowed a 2-run double to opposing pitcher Chris Wilden, so the Beetdiggers' lead was now 5-2, but that all changed in the top half of the 4th inning. Brett Okeson would double. James Ginther was hit by a pitch. Up came Adam Brungard.
Looking for that juicy fastball that he's been hitting so far. And he swings and lines it into center field for a base hit. Hit so sharply, I don't think Okeson will score. However, it gets underneath the glove of the center fielder DeLuna all the way to the fence. Okeson will score. Here comes Ginther. Called away will throw home. That's going to be offline. It will be a 2-run base hit for Adam Brungard. Just 1 RBI, actually. Beetdiggers have now gotten those 2 runs back and lead 7-2.
A 3rd RBI was a possibility for Joe Ginther.
Runner takes his lead. Swung on, lifted high and deep to left field. That one is going way back. Lemon shy of the track, and that ball is... that a home run? Nope, another ground rule double. It took 1 hop just shy of the fence and then went over that fence. The double by Ginther sends home Brungard. 8-2 Brush. It's his 23rd run batted into the season, the 3rd today.
Pepe Aguilar, 2 batters later, was trying for another Beetdigger run.
The pitch. He swings, grounds it inside the third base line for a base hit down the line. It's cut off by Lemon, but scoring is Joe Ginther on the RBI single by Jose Aguilar. Beetdiggers with 4 in the frame now lead 9-2.
They were not done because Jason Radke was up later on.
And he swings and grounds it up the middle. That will find center field for a base hit. Aguilar is rounding third. He is going to score easily as the throw comes towards home plate, but cut off by the first baseman Peterson on the run-scoring single from Jason Radke. Beetdiggers now lead 10-2.
5 runs in the fourth on 6 hits. And the Beetdiggers carried that lead into the bottom half of the fourth inning when Frederick scored a run. And then it was a mess in the top of the fifth as far as Frederick was concerned. They committed 2 errors, hit 3 batters. The Beetdiggers plated 4 runs, and they won the game 14-3. Matt Weiner, the winning pitcher, striking out 6 going all 5 innings. The Diggers improved to 11-4 on the season. With the Beetdiggers not playing another game for 5 days until April 22nd in Kersey against the Platte Valley Broncos, Matt Weiner would get the start once again on the hill and would help himself. In the top half of the second inning with 2 outs and nobody on, Pepe Aguilar singled, stole second, and then Weiner did his thing.
2-0 pitch. Weiner swings and lofts that one into left center field. That one might find a gap, racing to his right, diving and not making the play as it gets all the way to the fence is Augie Balos. Scoring is Aguilar. Weiner around second. He is going to third. The throw from center. There it is. The slide. He's safe. It's an RBI triple for Matt Weiner, and the Beetdiggers have a 1-0 second inning lead.
Weiner then struck out the side in the bottom of the second and third, and then the Digger offense in the fourth got going. Adam Brungart was hit by a pitch. James Ginther singled, as did Pepe Aguilar. 1 run was across, making it 2-0. Weiner up again.
1-2 pitch. Weiner swings, grounds it left field, base hit. Scoring is Aguilar. The Beetdiggers in the lead, 3-0. On the second RBI hit of the game from pitcher Matt Weiner.
After a Mitch Muniz fielder's choice, Tomas Perez was at the dish.
The wind and the pitch. Perez swings and lines it into right field. That is going to be a base hit just over the head of the second baseman Reynolds. Scoring is Mitch Muniz, and the Beetdiggers lead 4-0, 3 across in this fourth inning.
Well, they could make it 4 across with a hit by Jason Radke.
We'll see the second pitch, and he swings and lines it into center field for a base hit. JR with the RBI plates Tomas Perez. The Diggers lead 5-0.
And the Diggers really could put this game out of reach doing something in the fifth inning. Platte Valley certainly helped out with 3 errors and 2 walks. It was 7-0, and Jason Radke wasn't done.
And he swings and grounds it left side. Avila, the shortstop, has it. He'll have to make the long throw. He's got no play. That'll be an infield hit, an RBI single for Radke as Gutierrez scores, and the Diggers lead 8-0.
Weiner wasn't getting any weaker, even though he allowed a run, but it was an unearned run in the bottom of the fifth inning as he faced Reese Hopkin.
Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. He went with a high outside fastball. Weiner, for the 3rd time in the game, has struck out the side. He's in double digits in strikeouts with 10.
And the Beetdiggers won the game 8-3. Quite a game for Weiner. Not only a complete game striking out 12, but he had 2 hits and drove in 2 runs for head coach Mark Muniz.
He's going to have to hit. He's going to have to hit when he's pitching, and he may have to hit other times, but it's hard to keep a guy like that that's hit the ball that well. Keep him out of the lineup. We've got to find a place for him. But then again, that goes back to what I said earlier in the season: is we're deep, and I know some of the kids that I put in there tonight, didn't hit the ball, but that's just one of those things because they will hit it.
The Beetdiggers were 12-4 after this game and 6-0 in the Northern Division of the Patriot League.